Who's your family?
Black. We all family.
What's good, cousin? Welcome back to Black at the Movies. And today is a very, very special episode. I'm here with, wait a second.
Ta-da!
Hey! Everyone, this is my cousin Dee Hankins.
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all?
In the building.
In the house, baby.
And if they couldn't see, if they couldn't tell what this episode is about and why I'm so giddy, check the shirt, my guy. What is up?
I gotta say, your shirt is dope.
Thank you.
I gotta say.
It's one of my favorites. I got this shirt when we went to go see Black Panther in concert, which was the first time a Marvel movie has ever been in concert before.
Crazy.
And that's what we're gonna talk about Black Panther today.
Today is Black Panther Day.
And
And the third day of
Yes.
Black History Month. That is perfect.
And you know what's crazy? When this is slated to upload, it's going to be the 6-year anniversary of the film.
You planned this out perfectly.
I did.
Kudos.
It's because I'm a nerd.
Kudos.
Can't help it.
6 years ago, huh?
6 years.
Does it feel that way?
No.
It doesn't.
No, even with like Wakanda Forever being out, it doesn't feel like it's been that long.
No. 2018, man. Wow.
And it's still very relevant, very poignant, and I just love everything about it. I want to know, when was the first time you watched this? Did you see it like 12 a.m. Thursday night?
I sure did. I sure did. You know, I'm an avid moviegoer.
Mm-hmm.
I love all movies, all genres. You know, superhero movies, fantasy is really my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
So when I knew that there was a buzz that there may be a Black Panther movie, you know, ears to the internet, trying to see, you know, it was very exciting, very exciting. I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. So seeing Chadwick come up and actual see the Black Panther movie, I think it was Winter Soldier. Was really, really exciting. So 12, I think I saw it late, but I saw it the Thursday before it came out or officially released.
Me too.
Yeah, I had to. I was trying to get, you know, I really wanted to do the whole red carpet thing, pre-release and all that stuff, and you know, everybody wanted a piece of that, so it was very difficult for me. Yeah.
It was like a cultural standpoint. I remember being on Twitter when the teaser trailer dropped, maybe like the summer before it came out, and having everyone make all these references to Coming to America and talk about the things that they're gonna wear. And the fact that it came out in Black History Month made it so much more important. And Black people online were going nuts.
It was crazy. I think that trailer at the time had the highest record of views for a trailer ever.
Right.
You know, like, and it's crazy because it wasn't even, I don't know, man. Something about this character in this movie that, you know, through my eyes, although as a Black person was I excited to see this. Finally, we get our character, right? That movie theater was full of everybody.
Everybody.
All cultures, all races, all of it. So like, just as a Black culture, I kind of sat back and was just like, wow, we are really making history.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly. And there's so much that went into those months leading up to it. Of course, like, us as a community being excited, just Marvel and superhero nerds in general being excited to see this character from the 60s being put on the big screen.
In front of our eyes.
But then we also had a lot of pushback from conservatives and from the 2520 community, if you will. And if you don't know what 2520 means, I'll tell you later. And having them like make connections with the Black Panther Party and saying like, oh, it's a terrorist group, and oh my gosh, he's sitting in the wicker chair. I remember that poster came out where Black Panther is sitting in the wicker chair. That is so iconic in a lot of Black households and just in Black history in general. And white conservatives took it and ran. They were pissed. They were upsetty spaghetti.
That is nothing new.
No.
That's nothing new.
It's nothing new.
Like, from a logical standpoint, he's a superhero that wears Black Panthers are real. They're real animals.
Right.
That live in reality. They're not fantasy. They're real animals. His costume is a Black Panther. In that mythos, their god is a Black Panther.
Right.
Like, to make all these connections and all, like, you're just wasting your time. Enjoy the movie. Now, is there history behind maybe Stan Lee's thought process or Marvel's thought process in the creating of this and the connecting it to certain aspects of real life for Black people? Absolutely.
You know what? I can actually answer that. It was an accident. That name.
Really?
Like, they weren't trying to connect it to the Black Panther Party or anything. It's just at the time they just had the idea at the same time that the Black Panther Party was coming up. And for a period of time, they tried to change his name because of the pushback that they had gotten to the Black Leopard. It did not stick. There's still a few comics that it was in there as the Black Leopard, but they said no, that's not working, and they just went back to the Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Leopard does not sound.
No, it sounds whack.
It does sound pretty brutal. Black Leopard. I wouldn't even want that superhero name.
No.
Let me be the Black Leopard.
Right.
No, it doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't roll off the tongue.
It does not work. It does not roll off the tongue. But I love this movie, and I knew that I was going to love the movie already because I was introduced to the character of Black Panther in comic book class in high school. Shout out to Mr. Tree that was at School of Arts and Enterprise.
Shout out Mr. Tree.
He had a book that was a comprisal of all Black superheroes.
Oh.
And the first page was about Black Panther. And then he had other Black Panther comic books in the classroom. And so I would just ask to borrow them and he would let me. And I would just go home and I would just read it nonstop. So I've been like zeroed in on the character for a long time.
And it's a great character.
It is a great character.
It's not like, at least for me, right? So I'm a big DC fan as well.
We know.
Right? I'm a big DC fan. And so there's iconic characters in DC whose movies are terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I can't lie. In the back of my head, I'm like, please don't make, I just felt like, all right, for us, but that's why when I heard Ryan Coogler was directing it, it lessened my anxiety because he's real, right?
Right.
He's a real director. He pulls no punches,
At all. He was coming off of Fruitvale Station.
Absolutely, right? And so I knew he knows people, right, that were going to be like, look, I need you to be in this movie. And the characters in this movie are phenomenal. The way it's written, where everybody gets a little piece, everybody gets it's not just as great as Chadwick is, late great Chadwick, moment of silence.
R.I.P.
As great as he is, the movie wasn't solely focused on him. Everybody got their piece. Everybody got their shine, and it all came together. And he rung it in.
Yeah, he really did. It is a great movie, and I'll tell you and tell everybody I'm about to expose myself.
Uh-oh.
Nerd alert.
Uh-oh. Do you have like a graphic that goes up? Nerd alert.
I'm gonna have
put
to.
that in there. Nerd alert section.
Future not DSG while you're editing this. Nerd alert needs to happen on the screen. Big and loud.
Big and loud with the sirens and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sirens and everything. Nerd alert. I saw this in the theaters 18 times.
Oh my goodness. 18?
Yes. Listen,
1-8.
1-8.
Wow.
I'm not even joking.
Wow. You are in like the top 1%. That is not. Now, I admit, I did see it, I think 3 times. So 18 though?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to explain that. All right.
Okay.
So it's kind of like for me, okay, it's like reading the Bible. I've read the Bible a million times, but every time I go back at like a certain age or a certain time in my life, the thing that I read 100 million times pops up and it just, I understand it better.
Right.
Right? So on your 18th time watching this movie in theaters, you left with something new. What was it?
I think on the 18th time, especially like at this point, I had consumed so much media and so much information, articles, video essays, whatever I could to like get back a piece of what I was feeling while I was in the theater, because I needed someone to talk about this with. And I think the 18th time, I left kind of seeing myself in a character that I was not expecting to.
Who's that character? Do tell.
Oh, brother. Eric Killmonger.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I can't. We'll get to him later, but
We'll get to him later.
Okay.
But and listen, I went the first time too, Thursday night, 12-something a.m. with like mommy and Uncle Steve. And then I went the next day.
Didn't we? No, it wasn't that movie.
I don't think it was.
Okay. Where'd you see it? Did you see it at AMC Glendora?
No.
Okay.
I saw it at a totally different AMC the first time.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm just like texting someone, hey, have you seen Black Panther? And they were like, no, I haven't seen it yet. I'm just like, cool, let's go. That's how I went so many times.
Wow.
So I'm just like, you haven't seen it? Let's go. Auntie Gwen and mommy and them, let's go. Auntie Linda hadn't seen it. Let's go. Various friends, let's go.
Oh, so you were just putting people on.
Or it'd be like back when I was nannying in 2018, it would be like, oh, I have to nanny in like 4 hours. I'm going to go to the movies really quick and catch this matinee screening of Black Panther like I haven't already seen it. And then not to mention, seeing this movie was me and Not DSG's first date.
Wow.
We met on Tinder. We were talking. I'm just like, hey, have you seen Black Panther yet? And he said, no. I'm just like, cool. That's where we need to go.
So this movie has significance to you in
Yes.
a major way.
In a major way.
So I feel honored to be able to talk to you about this movie on this episode, this podcast, because this is so meaningful for you. So thank you for bringing me on here.
Yeah.
I'm all about this movie. This is like one of the conversations that go very, very deep when we're talking about Blackness.
Right.
And this movie really, at least for me, I'm logical, but I also like to play devil's advocate. And one of the things that really stood out to me in this movie is the theme of it, which is the juggling of Black Panther's mindset.
Right.
Right? And how the characters, each character in this movie is on opposite sides. They're either like, let's say he's battling between doing what they believe Wakanda should be doing in society, traditional values, versus your people outside of Wakanda are suffering and we could do something about it. So protection of these people and protection of our people, that's the battle, right? That's where the problem is. Now, the love of his life, is on the protection of our people.
Right.
Right.
She sees the plight of all the people while she's out being a war dog, and she wants to change it. She wants to help. And I think that's why they might have broken up.
You know what? I think she, yeah, without saying, I agree. I think she said, I love you. However, I have a personal calling as well.
Right.
I have this thing as well. But this was, they dated before he was king.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just following dad's orders.
Right.
So but now that he's king, and I love the fact that his dad tells him, you are a good man.
And it's hard
It's
for a
hard
good man
for
to
a
be
good
king.
man to be king.
Mm-hmm.
And that hit me, man. That rocks me. Because in that movie, he is a good man.
Mm-hmm.
And he cares. He cares, right? But he has a duty to be king and now to protect a whole nation. But what does that mean when half of the nation is just like, yo, we got it good here. We're good. Mm-hmm. And half of the nation is just like, dude, we got brothers and sisters out there. We're suffering. We're poor. We're oppressed. Mm-hmm. We're getting enslaved. We're all this stuff is happening, and we have the means to fix all of it. Whether it be Nakia's way, which is refugee camps and programs
and
outreach. Versus, I forget his name. It's Okoye's husband.
Oh, W'Kabi.
W'Kabi versus his way, which is just like, bro, I'll round up the soldiers right now.
I've got beef with W'Kabi.
I do too, but I understand where he's coming from. And this is why this movie, I could watch it so many times because
there's a different way to look at it.
There's a different way to look at each one. You could, you put on Black Panther right now and just follow T'Challa's storyline, and you'll see it a certain way. Watch it again and follow Killmonger's storyline and where his mindset is at. Nakia's, Okoye's, W'Kabi, M'Baku, like all of them. The mom, right? You can follow all of these characters, and you'll get a different perspective of this movie, which is why. Hey, if you watched it 18 times, I know you came up with something new. That's what I'm saying. And the fact that you attribute it to Killmonger.
Well, okay, listen. We watched it last night, and I wrote my notes. And specifically circling back to W'Kabi and why I have beef with him.
Okay.
I had written down some notes, and I had put at one point, W'Kabi is so weak-willed. Tradition just goes out of the window when someone has what he wants because he's constantly projecting his feelings regarding that situation with Claw and the murder of his parents, projecting that onto T'Challa. T'Challa just got into this role. Yes, he's been preparing for it his whole life. He wasn't expecting for it to happen this quickly.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a toss-up. It was like, I want to try my best, but at the same time, there are certain rules I gotta follow. Mm-hmm. Because they're out there, and he tells Claw, every breath you take is a mercy from me. People are watching, taking pictures and stuff. At this point, nobody knows about Wakanda.
Yeah.
So you gotta do what you gotta do. Because if you were to just kill him on sight, that would not look good for him. Not in the movie standpoint, because we all know the comic T'Challa is very different, and he would have killed him. He would have took him out. This is the same T'Challa that was fighting the KKK. Mm-hmm. So the demeanor is very different between the two.
But the two share, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate on this episode. The two share the same feelings regarding loss of parents at the hands of Claw. Mm-hmm. Right? So I think when I see it, it's just like, dude, hey, he killed your dad too. You know how it feels. Let's just get it. Let's just kill this dude. Because remember, in Winter Soldier, there was such a like fury.
Yeah, he had a revenge arc.
He did,
against
right?
Zemo.
Yeah, it's like I'm blinded, and he says it at the end. I'm blinded by what you did to my father. Okay, but he had to come into self moment, right? And you have Daniel, who's a great actor.
Yeah, shout out to Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, I love him, man. You're a great actor.
He's good at everything that he's in.
You are. Keep doing what you're doing. Who has this same feeling? I lost my parents. I know you're with me on this, right? But again, the dichotomy of, do I do what's best for Wakanda as a people, or do I
do what's best for you?
Exactly.
Specifically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the fact that he did stoop so low, okay, you're not gonna do what I need you to do. So I agree with you on that. You know, I'm putting my feelings. You didn't do. I thought we were homies.
Right.
Right. That's kind of like the thing. Oh, you're not down no more. I thought we were homies, and now that you're not gonna do this, I'm gonna go out of my way behind your back, and I'm gonna solve this problem myself.
Right, because he didn't have to bring Killmonger to the palace right away. He didn't have to do any of that.
No, he didn't.
But he wanted to
He
because he had something that he wanted. He's just like, well, here's this person that did everything that you couldn't do. Of course I'm going to be on his side. Ooh,
or
girl.
everything that you didn't want to do. Because you know, T'Challa's real.
Yeah.
He's real and formidable, you know, but mentally, and you know, we're going to get to Killmonger in a second, but mentally, I think T'Challa is really battling between what his dad said, being a good man and being a king. And what does that mean? Is it possible? Let me ask you this question personally. Is it possible to be a good man and a king?
No.
Why? Why do you feel that way?
I mean, you think about monarchies in the past. There's a lot of hard decisions that you have to make that may not align with your moral values. Like, in that moment in time, when he is, like, when you think about when he accepts Killmonger's challenge, I don't think he wants to, which is why during the fight, he keeps telling him to just yield, like, let it go, like, let's bury the hatchet, because he doesn't want to. But because tradition calls for it, he has to. And I mean, you think about T'Chaka and the decisions that he made. He is thinking of Wakanda. He is thinking, this is how it should be. And that point has taken over everything else. Which is why he killed his brother in cold blood and abandoned his nephew. So it's just not possible when you're running a country.
True.
Which is why I don't trust politicians. So that's just the way that it is. But it's time to get into some favorite scenes, because we'll sit here and talk all day.
Oh, all day.
All day. You know how it is.
It's a great movie.
It is a great movie. Black Panther, everything. Shirts.
I didn't even notice that.
Kamoyo
beads. You got them on.
Kamoyo beads.
I like it.
If you want to learn how to be Adora Milaje, Protectors of Wakanda.
Wow.
If you want to cook food from Black Panther from the palace of Wakanda.
Hey, we have this book, and let me tell you, there's some dishes in there that fire.
But what else can you expect
from Wakanda?
Look at the continent that it's coming from.
That is
true.
That is true.
All right, let's get into some favorite scenes. I had a hard time choosing favorite scenes. There's like 7 of them in my notes. But I'm going to let you go first, and then I'll go.
Okay, so back and forth?
Back and forth.
I'm going to go with scene. I got 3.
Okay.
So hopefully we don't have the same ones, but we probably do. We probably do.
We might.
So I'm gonna go from 3 to 1 for me.
Okay.
Scene 3, is when Shuri is giving T'Challa his suit, the new suit. That whole brother-sister interaction to me is absolutely one of my favorite scenes.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. It shows a different side of him. You know, like a big brother, relaxed side. He loves his sister. And watching Wakanda Forever, it made more sense to me to see why Shuri is so. She loved her brother.
Right.
You know, like they had a bond. They were really, really close. And she definitely lost a part of her. And that scene shows how much she loves her brother, interacting with her brother, making this stuff for her brother. There's purpose in her. Her brother is part of her purpose.
Right.
And seeing that interaction between them was awesome.
They're hilarious.
Yeah.
What are those?
Yeah, that's
Why do you have
funny.
your toes out in my lab?
When he's like, oh, just strike the thing, and he kicks it, and you should have told me not to kick it that hard. Yeah, that is so funny. That is so funny.
And he's like, why are you recording?
And why are you recording?
For research purposes.
Delete that footage. Oh, that's my favorite part right there.
I've quoted delete that footage multiple times throughout the past 6 years.
That is a great scene.
It is a great scene.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I really, really love that one. Okay, let's get into it. My first favorite scene is when M'Baku challenges for the throne.
Oh.
Because it's so interesting seeing him come in. You know, the Jabari tribe had been so disconnected from the rest of the tribes of Wakanda ever since, you know, the giant mass of vibranium hit the earth. And seeing him there and coming in with such confidence and such almost like overconfidence, where he's like, I'm going to prove you wrong. Like, I'm here to make a stand for all of the Jabari tribe leaders that stood before me that never came down here to challenge you for this throne. It's like my whole life is leading up to this moment. And I just like all of the shit talking that he does during the fight. He's disrespectful. Disrespectful. He is fighting him. He is whooping T'Challa's butt. And he says, where's your God now?
Oh, man.
Sir, please.
Even before that, where he's like, you know, but the thing I love about M'Baku, especially that scene, is he's speaking facts.
He is speaking facts.
But they're jabs. He talks about you scoff at tradition. You left all your technological advances in the hands of a child, which is true.
Which is true.
Right? And now you are trying to lead Wakanda, bro, and you couldn't even save your own father. Oh, bro, that moment is when T'Challa was just like, I accept your challenge. Stop talking.
Yep. He said, stop talking. Cut the crap.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We're throwing hands right now.
Immediately.
Right now. But is he lying?
I mean, no, not necessarily. But then again, you know, M'Baku wasn't there.
That is true. He just, you're right. You're disconnected. You just heard it from the grapevine, so you didn't actually see what went on. And I think that's what pissed T'Challa off.
Right.
Like, bro, you went too far.
Too far.
You went too far.
That's why I said he was being disrespectful the entire fight. And when they finally get to the point where T'Challa, how the sands of power shift. And the tides have turned and T'Challa is on top and he's like holding him in this like crazy jujutsu leg clutch. And he's like, yield. You have proven yourself well, but your people need you.
Yeah, mercy.
Don't make me have to kill you.
See, and that's the thing, right? I know we're gonna get to Killmonger in a second, but that's the thing. That is the good man.
Yeah.
Like, the king popped out. Show him who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It popped out for a second, but when it came down to really taking care of business, the good man came out. Like, dude, I can end you right now, but your people need you.
Your people need you.
And because your people, the Jabari tribe, is still part of Wakanda. So in his conscience, he's still thinking, I'm doing my job by not killing you as a king and a good man to protect Wakanda.
Right.
Man, the battles that go on in this dude's head, dude. Like, how can you, Craziness.
Crazy. What's another one of your favorite scenes?
So number 2 has to go the introduction of Killmonger. That British,
that scene at the museum,
like the introduction, it immediately told me he was a man on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
He's been planning for this for
ever.
Like, he's knowledgeable. He has a steep history and knowledge and wisdom in everything Wakanda, because he didn't physically he disbanded from Wakanda, right? Living in Oakland and things like that.
Yeah, because he never got to see it. He was born out here.
Exactly, right? So, but mentally, spiritually, the connection is still there. He still has a love for his homeland. He just doesn't like how they've been doing things.
Yeah.
And so it's immediately apparent. The moment you see this dude, I'm getting back there with a vengeance, and I got a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like, I love that scene. I love that scene. It's just to me, he is a great villain.
Probably one of the best.
To me, in my opinion, he is one of the best. I think he's up there. Like, so, me, I'm like, okay, a great villain makes sense to me. Right? It makes sense. Like you can agree with their thought process.
It's like, ooh, he might be right.
Yeah, like, if I was having a bad day,
yeah. Like, hate to say it, brother.
Yeah, you're
hate to say it.
Yeah.
But this might be the start of my villain era.
Exactly. My measuring stick is, he's not wrong. That's my measuring stick.
He's not wrong. It's like that line from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like, he's not doing great, but he's got the spirit.
Exactly. And that's how I feel about him. So him being introduced in that way, where there was no build up to, is he smart? Is he intelligent? Like, what's his plan?
No, it was just right off the bat.
Right off the bat. This is who I am. I'm hardcore. I mean business, and that's that.
Such a great introduction, too.
Really good.
And the way that he slays that museum director.
Like, you don't know anything.
The way that he slays her. And he's just like, I'm going to take it off your hands.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't even worry about this right now. Like, we're good. Well, they're not for sale. Oh, no. Oh, they're not for sale. All of a sudden?
Right.
All of a sudden, it's not for sale?
How do you think your ancestors got these?
Man, I love that.
How do you think your ancestors got these?
I absolutely love that.
Did they put up a fair price, or did they take them like they stole everything else?
Man, I love that. And then what did she do? Before she died, it was like, man, I
got nothing to say.
And you look at that and you go, he's not wrong.
He's not. And you know what? I was mentioning this in Not DSG last night. That scene is even more poignant now because the British Museum of History is loaning the crown jewels from Ghana back to Ghana. Loaning.
I was just reading that or a while ago that someone died. Forgive me if I don't know, right? Someone died, and Africa demanded a lot of the sculptures, a lot of the weaponry, a lot of everything that was just taken and put on display where they made a bunch of money. They wanted it back. Jewels and artifacts and artwork and things like that. And it's just like, if you're watching this episode, right? Now, of course, you can start, but at the end of the day, the facts are these.
Right.
Africa is rich in art, music, culture, weaponry, food, sculptures, you name it.
Right.
Right? It is a fact that other countries stole a lot of things from Africa that we see today in museums. It is stolen. It is not bought.
No.
It is not like, oh, we love this. We want to bring it back with us. No, all the way from rubies, diamonds, precious metals. It was taken. Mm-hmm. And people were killed.
Right.
Like and these are facts, and people get all, like up in
arms.
Yeah, about all that. This really happened. Yes, it's beautiful, right? If you go to a British museum and you see some of this stuff, and you go, wow, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. That is great and all. It is awesome, but a lot of it was stolen.
Yeah.
Someone died protecting this.
Yeah. And you know what? I think about like the times where I was sitting in the theater while that scene is playing, especially in the first night. And Eric Killmonger has that introduction and he's talking to the museum director, and you could just see all of the non-people of color there get uncomfortable. And they start looking around at the black people that are sitting there like, oh.
Like, deep down,
ooh. And it's just like, listen. If you're feeling convicted, take it to the altar. Like, that's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
Colonialism has done a number
on
every continent that wasn't European.
Yeah.
Okay? Every continent. And that's just the way that it is. Mm-hmm. And it's like we have to deal with it every day, constantly, just based on our existence alone. So then in that moment when everyone's uncomfortable and it's just like, why are you looking at me?
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
You got to go down, you got to go down the tree. And one of the arguments that we had, or I actually had during, the 2020s where racial tension was high was...
During the BLM protests?
Yeah, during Black Lives Matter and all that. There was a lot of, well, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
And you're right. The person that I'm looking at right now, no, that wasn't you. But if I go down my ancestry, if I go down my family tree, chances are, because I was born in the United States, chances are that somewhere down my timeline, I have relatives that were slaves.
Right.
Right? Chances are, if you go down your timeline,
you have relatives that were
slave owners, right? And that's just... I want people to understand reality. Yeah, it may not be you that I'm looking at right now.
Right.
Right? However, in the context of this movie and that scene, if you go to a museum, chances are, if you go down the history, you are going to find or be looking at an article or artifact that was stolen, that somebody died for or was killed over. Chances are, and that's what I just want people to understand. No, I'm not blaming this 4-year-old boy, right? I'm not blaming you, nor am I blaming your parents or blah, 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 this and that. I'm just saying, if you go down your lineage, you are going to find out the history behind your people, my people, this artifact, this cup, this country, this continent. You have to go down the history, right? And sometimes it's not pretty.
Right.
Sometimes
it's
it's
not going to be
ugly.
pretty.
No.
And then people also have to come to terms with the fact that you are going to directly benefit from the privilege of where your lineage was placed on either side of that history. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way that it is. And I think as a moviegoer, you know, that's why I wanted to like buy out screenings and stuff, because it is terribly uncomfortable when you're watching things from a Black lens that people are not going to get, or that people are going to see and they're going to sensationalize it and try to put themselves in those shoes. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, it becomes uncomfortable, and I would rather be in a theater with a whole bunch of people that look like me, watching a movie like Black Panther, or watching a movie that has to do with slavery.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Because it's uncomfortable.
I remember one time in elementary school, and I remember this day very vividly. We were watching I was young. I was really, really young, but we were watching a video back when they used to roll in the TVs, you know?
Yeah.
And we were watching a video about slavery. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't take my eyes off of what I was watching. You know, my teacher was white. Most of the students in the class were white.
Yeah.
And the teachers kind of scanned in the room at the couple of Black folks in there. And I can't explain it to you. I was just locked in. But something emotional was happening in my body.
Right.
You know, I don't know if my eyes were tearing up or whatever the case may be, but I was really touched by what I was seeing on this screen. Mm-hmm. And my teacher at the time had the awareness to say, oh, I think that's enough for today, you know, and she turned it off and, you know, just kind of debriefed it. But the moment she turned it off, the moment I kind of snapped out of it and went back to being an elementary school student.
Right.
But for that time period, that 20 minutes that we were watching this documentary or learning about slavery, something was going on inside, you know? And it's no different than this movie, right? This movie was set in, what was it, 80, when Killmonger was little and they had the Oakland.
90s.
Was it 90s? Okay, the 90s, okay. During that time, there was a lot going on, right? You know, we had the LA riots and all this stuff going on.
Yep.
And watching this movie and listening, especially that scene, listening to what he was trying to explain, it's the same thing were happening. Like I was locked in because it's factual. It's a movie script, but they didn't just take something and go, oh yeah, this might sound good. These are actual facts.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to live with that.
You do. You know, I actually have a quote for you.
Hit me.
Shout out to FD Signifier, because this is from him. If you ever want to watch a really good video essay on this film that actually recontextualizes a lot of parts of it with history, both American and African history, you should watch it. It's like an hour plus. It's very educational. Very, very good. He says, Ryan Coogler put in so much subtext and thematic resonance under the surface. And in spaces that few would see, it makes complete sense that most people didn't really get it. That's one of the beauties of Black art, that the Black experience becomes a cipher for seeing things that aren't obvious. Shout outs to FD Signifier.
That is well written. That's spot on. It is spot on. If you have not had the honor of
being black
and experiencing these things, and we've experienced some hard things, you know, and we continue to, you know, we're making leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
You know, like 50 years ago, you wouldn't be allowed to do this.
No.
You know, 60, 70 years ago, and people that are 70 years old are alive today.
Right. Ruby Bridges is alive.
This stuff is like, and you know, it's so out of people's minds. Oh, it's 50 years ago, 60 years ago. Dude, 60 years, that's young.
It's young.
You know? And so people are still climbing out of this. You know, if you're lucky enough to have your great grandparents live, chances are that they were freed slaves. You know? Like,
And that's just the way that it is.
and like, you know, I can't sit here and complain about it and live my life and go, oh, you know, my gosh, my great-great-grand, they were slaves. But when I watch something...
I mean, you can.
You can. Yeah, you can.
Your feelings are valid.
Yeah, that is, actually, that's a great point.
They're valid.
Can. But what I'm trying to say is, if I watch something that connects to what think about it. Your grandma is your mom's mom. Your great grandma is your grandma's mom. Chances are she was a slave in this country. Chances are. Or her parents were. So if you watch something that connects something that's just like, dude, my great-great-grandma, regardless if you go, oh, that was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40, it was real. Like, it's in your scope of reasoning.
It's tangible.
Right? It's tangible.
It's tangible, which is why, like, that beginning scene where you see it in the form of vibranium sand, and you see, like, while the world around us was going downhill, we were fine.
Yeah.
And you know what? That brings into my next favorite scene, because we've got to talk about it. This one was hard to choose, but I think specifically the "Hey Auntie" scene.
Oh, don't do it. That's my number one.
We're getting into it.
That's my number one scene.
Then it's good. Then we're going to talk about it. I think this is a good time to talk about diaspora wars.
Okay.
Because there is an issue, to this day, a disconnect between descendants of slaves, Black Americans, and even like first generation, or just people from different places in Africa, like Ghana and Nigeria and Kenya and Ethiopia. And a lot of times, Black Americans tend to be looked down upon, right? Even by our own people, unfortunately. And we are seen as like childish and like we have no culture. And you even hear Wakabi earlier on in the film say, if you let these people in, they'll bring their problems with them. And so then Eric Killmonger in Jadaka gets there. And there's a scene where he's in the throne room and all of the elders are there and they're starting to talk. And they're just like, well, you're nobody. You're nothing. You're just a Black American. What does that matter? And he's like, no, I'm much more than that. But even so, like, there are oppressed people all over the world that look like us. And he tells T'Challa, and he's just like, didn't life start right here on this continent? So aren't all people your people? And what is Wakanda doing for them? And it's dual-sided because it's on that side as well. You know, like you abandoned everyone. But then also, specifically, you abandoned me. For T'Chaka to murk his brother, dip out, leave Eric Killmonger behind, there's no telling what he went through. That was his only parent. And his mom was in jail.
And to see it.
Coming back and finding his father's body. And then after hearing all these stories about Wakanda and how great everything is and how great everyone is and how beautiful it is, it's just like, this is what Wakanda has done to me. So now I'm going to internalize this. And this is my only purpose and objective, is to go and kill off everyone else that was connected to what happened to me and take over. And like I said, he's got the spirit. He's talking the talk. He's got the spirit. And the fact that he sits there so smug with a shit-eating grin and says, hey, auntie. After revealing to everyone, because no one knew, hey, T'Chaka actually killed his brother and then left his nephew behind. And now I'm here to express my birthright.
There's a special connection that I make with this scene when M'Baku is fighting T'Challa and he's losing. What does Queen Ramonda say?
Show them who you are.
Show them who you are. In that throne room, what do they finally ask Killmonger? Who are you?
Ngumbani.
Show them who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to ask. She was very reluctant. I don't care. I don't want to ask. You're nobody, like you said, right? Then the elders finally get the gusto. I want to know. This dude's he's not coming in here talking nonsense.
Right.
He's spitting facts. How would he know all this?
He knows too much.
Show them who you are. And what does he do? I'm Wakandan. And then
blows up the spot. Blows up the spot.
Man, that's my favorite scene because it just, your whole belief system, if you're on this side, remember there's a battle going on, right? No, we're good. We're straight. We take care of our people. We had a great king. He led us.
All of it. Shattered.
Done. Right? So now you're what do you do? Right? And the thing about Eric Killmonger that makes him a great villain is he's about that life. My whole life was meant to just whoop your ass. That's my whole life. He prepared.
Literally said that. He's like, I've been waiting my entire life for this.
And that's it. And he did it. He proved it. Right? Because now there's a difference between them at that moment, right? T'Challa is dealing with the dismantlement of his beliefs that his dad was a great dad. Like he loved his dad.
That he was a great dad, that he was a great king.
That Wakanda was doing the right thing.
Right.
And so he's battling that while he's fighting. Killmonger's already sure. I already know the deal. I already know there's no duality in his mind. I came to conquer. After I kill everybody involved with my daddy's killing, then I'm going to do what Wakanda should have been doing a long time ago. Right. And that's helping everybody else. That's why it's kind of just like, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. You know, he wants to arm oppressed people. But at the same time, big dog, you can't do this. Wakanda Empire, you trying to take over every single country.
But you could. But think about it. If it wasn't, this is our last resort. Because his thing to T'Challa, his gripe with T'Challa is, you did nothing, and then you killed my dad, who was actually doing something for the people on the streets that were actually suffering. Right. You guys had your story. In Wakanda, they're fed. They got running water. They have technologically advanced everything. Their people are good. They can grow crops. They have animals. They have, you name it.
They have land. They can afford houses.
You name it. They have it. Meanwhile, 12,000 miles down the way, what did black people have during that time? Nothing. Everything was stripped from us. Stolen, stripped from us, taken away. We were getting hung and lynched and burned and all this just for being black. You know, obviously they don't represent this in the movie, but this is Killmonger's mindset. You could have prevented all of this. You could have came and got us.
Yeah.
But you didn't. So guess what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make that same mistake.
He said, Papa Roach, this is my last resort.
Straight up. And
this is all we can do.
And I'm going to make it happen. And if that means going through you, consider it done. And he already knew that. I'm going to have to go through either T'Chaka or T'Challa. I'm going to have to go through one of them. And he trained his whole life to do so. Everything in this man's, from high school to the college he chose, to going into the armed forces, to where everything that this man went through, Killmonger has been planned out specifically to carry out this plan. That to me, that's a villain.
He's the textbook definition of holding a grudge. He's great at it. Your whole life
is dedicated to this moment, man. And he did it. He accomplished it. You cannot say he's not successful. Now, what changes is T'Challa is no longer barred by the push-pull dilemma that's going on in his mind.
Right. Because he had all of that shattered when he was speaking to Zuri in the garden. He had all of that shattered. And I think during their fight, I don't want to say T'Challa necessarily gave up, but I think there's just so much going on in his mind and trying to figure out, like, well, how do I move forward from this? Is like my life is a lie?
Yeah.
And then when you're fighting this person who wants so badly to kill you, you're probably thinking about, like, what would it have been like if he was here?
Yeah.
If you brought him back, would we have grown up together? How would our relationship would have been? Well,
you could see it at the end. There's a glimpse.
There's inkling.
A tiny glimpse. There, you can't, and this is how I see it, right? You can only hate what you love, or at least loved. The fact that he hates, I don't think that he hates T'Challa. Right? I don't think that he hates T'Challa. I think that
hatred is just for the powers that be in Wakanda in general.
The tradition that the underneath the carpet, the stuff that you have hidden. Right? So you talk about it as this great nation and this and that, but your king is a murderer and he killed his own brother. Why didn't you kill the slave owners or the whatevers? Like, why didn't you take that anger out on the people that are actually oppressing us? Rather, you kill the one person that's trying to do something about it in cold blood. And then you come back and you walk around and parade as a king.
Right.
The reason why he didn't take him back, because what are you going to tell your nephew? Hey, sorry, dude. Like,
sorry,
I had to kill your dad.
You had to kill your dad.
Yeah,
sorry.
but you can roll back with us, and chill. I got a son. You guys will grow up. No, it doesn't work like that.
No.
So his anger is towards everything that happened, and like I said, there's a glimpse at the end where he kind of lets it go for a second, and he reminisces about the sunsets that his dad told him about. And he's there with his cousin.
Right.
He could have killed Shuri. He could have killed everybody. Who's gonna stop him? You literally just beat our Black Panther. Who's gonna stop him? But he didn't. Right? You're gonna carry out my orders. I will kill you if I have to, but I don't want to. So think about it. Like, if he really wanted to, and he's really on this path of, I'm killing T'Challa, I'm killing everybody involved, Shuri did, I'm taking over the whole thing. He could have did that. But he's just like, I got rid of you. I've satisfied that part of me. Now, my second part of this mission is to armed, oppressed people with the technology that we have. We're going to go to war, and we're going to show people what's up.
I'm actually going to push back on that.
Okay, let's go.
And the reason why I say this is, knowing Killmonger as a person, he's definitely a Black manosphere kind of guy. And I will say the reason why I don't think he successfully completed his entire mission is because he got too comfortable. After he threw T'Challa off of the River Falls. He's like, cool, I'm in it. It's mine now. Everything's fine. He's got W'Kabi on his side. He's got the tribe on his side. He's in power. He got too comfortable.
But again, I completed my first mission. I'm skating now. I got control of everything now. I'm cool, right? T'Challa's gone. I'm the Black Panther now. Now I can, you're right. Now I can relax and do my thing. So the cockiness of, I know I killed him.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't up in arms anymore. He wasn't, you know, he didn't have this like gung-ho, like, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to make sure this and that. Because, you know, it was just, I agree with that. I think he did get too lax.
I mean, he did successfully burn up the garden. Oof. He did that. But everything else, he kind of laxed on. And, I mean, for the sake of narrative purposes, that makes sense. You know, do I want them to revive him at some point further on down the line? Yes, because it happens in the comics. But, you know, it's good for what it is.
Yeah.
I still love the film. And that's the good thing about, like, when you love something, you can also critique it, and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But, you know, since we had the same one.
You got to pick a new one. Got to pick. Okay. Which one? Okay, so which one were you battling? Because you said you were battling between two. That one won. So what's the second one? What was second place?
I think the second place was specifically just a moment. Just it's a small moment. It's when Nakia Shuri and Queen Mother and Everett Ross and him too. He had some problems with the CIA. When they go to M'Baku to offer him the heart-shaped herb.
So he can be...
I think everyone kind of just sees M'Baku in this film as kind of like a brute. And that there's no real thought process behind him. But you can see his face when he's looking at the heart-shaped herb, when Nakia is holding it before him. And he's looking at it, and like the dads over at Cinema Therapy say, the best part of a film is a human face.
Micro expression.
And you could see him go through the motions when he's looking at this. He's just like, days ago, this was all I wanted. Like, this was my goal. And now that I've moved forward from that, while also knowing that I've secretly saved T'Challa and have had him on ice this whole time. It's just like, I wonder if he was in that moment going like, should I? I shouldn't. Because he spared my life. And
Aren't they even? Can I do my devil's advocate moment?
I mean, they are
even?
They technically not yet.
Okay.
Technically not yet, because he was still on ice.
Okay.
Which is why you see him and T'Challa have a talk after he's been revived from the heart-shaped herb. And he's just like, a life for a life. Consider the debt repaid.
You know, that's funny, because if you go to fast forward to Wakanda Forever, now he seems the best fit for that role.
Yes.
So there's a lot of growth, and I think that.
Oh yes,
right?
Don't you love character growth?
I do, and
it's
he's a really great character.
He is.
He's a really great character. I didn't really think about that scene like that, so thank you for offering that insight. I really thought of it as I lost the sense of pride. He's very prideful. I lost. I can't take it because I didn't earn it. I didn't win it.
Yeah.
You're just giving it to me.
Yeah.
And I won't feel...
It's not the same.
It's not the same. It's not the same. I think there's like a sense of pride. But the fact that they ran to him, I did make that connection. This is just my opinion. Eric Killmonger is also a brute. Yeah. I will kill you.
Yeah.
There's no questions asked. We need someone who is willing to give that same energy. Right?
And have an army and have that same build. Because Eric Killmonger was a big dude.
Yeah, he's a big dude. And we're going to fight for Wakanda. And this is what's crazy about this movie and why you can watch it so many times. Remember, the Jabari tribe left.
Right.
We're out. Like, we're going to do our own thing up here. And now you guys are running to us to essentially come save you guys. You didn't put up a fight when we bounced.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, actually, you know, his intro when he comes in to fight T'Challa, everybody's like, yo, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Everybody's shocked because they're so
shook.
Man, they're so far out. They're so disconnected from the rest of Wakanda. But now the royals, not just like the normal village people, hey, dude, we got this issue. The royals are like, dude, we feel like you are our last resort. They came to him to save Wakanda after essentially, okay, y'all do your own thing. We have forgotten about you pretty much, right? That to me, I love movies that are written that way, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's so much entangling going on. There's so much intertwined. There's so many connections that can be made to first scenes, second scenes, third scenes, ends of movies, beginning of the movies, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why this one stands out.
It does.
Yeah.
It does stand out. And I just love M'Baku as a character in general. Shout out to Winston Duke, not DSG, in the future. Put the picture on the screen.
Winston Duke, man. You're
Shout out
awesome.
to Winston Duke. All right, so we have our favorite scenes. Let's get into some trivia because I want to see how much you know.
Okay, let's see. Here we go.
Because it's interesting.
Okay.
We'll start out with maybe a good one. None of these are true or false because I'm not giving you true or false. You're too smart for that.
Maybe.
You might know. Okay. Who was slated to direct this film before Ryan Coogler?
Oh. That is
You get one guess.
Oh. That's unfair. I want to say, wasn't it a girl? Wasn't it a woman? No.
It was a
Right?
woman.
Yeah. It's I can't get her name.
Would you like me to tell you?
Yes.
Ava DuVernay.
I knew it was someone, but then cause she created a lot of buzz.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody was just like, I don't know how Ryan got the job. Did she pull out?
She pulled out.
Okay, that's what okay.
She
Now it's
passed
okay.
on it because of artistic differences.
Got it. Okay, you're right. Right.
And then she ended up directing A Wrinkle in Time that same year. Yeah.
Ava, I feel like would have went all out in regards to like the iconic Black focus. I think she had in her mind, like, dude, this is going to really be big for the Black community. And Ryan Coogler went deep, you know. I think it was just deep enough to keep corporate, you know, happy. I think Ava would have been like, nah, we're going to break.
And I think that's why she passed on it.
I think so, too.
Because there are a lot of parameters, I'm sure, that go into being able to direct and write a film for Megacorp. Everybody
knew this was going to be a big deal. Everybody. Yeah. So the fact that, and obviously it proved to be such, so I can see why. And I'm not saying Ryan was some pushover, you know. I think that he just did a great job. And he brought, do I think that anybody could have played Black Panther? No. I think Chadwick was the perfect. It's kind of just like how Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man. That is a perfect casting.
Yeah.
Chadwick is a perfect casting. I believe, just because I'm a fan of the character, I think Michael B. Jordan in that role was a perfect casting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, him and Michael B. Jordan went way back.
Yeah, they're tight. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the first person that popped into Coogler's mind was just like, if Killmonger is going to be the main antagonist, I'm bringing him.
Oh no, yeah, it was before like writing was even done. He reached out to Michael B. Jordan. He's just like, I'm gonna need you. On this. Yeah. So they already know. There's
some people out there who don't think Michael B. Jordan is a good actor, and whatever.
I think they're wrong.
In this movie, He killed it. Jess does not like Michael B. Jordan.
Listen, I go back and forth. I'm sorry, Michael B. Jordan, if you're ever watching this. I go back and forth just because some of the films that he's been in have not been good films.
Okay.
Just in general. But I think he is a good actor when he's in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And this is one of those films.
I think he should play more villain movies.
I think so too.
You know who didn't play, and this is off topic a little bit, but who didn't play a good villain because he's not a good villain is Michael Ealy in that movie. What's that movie?
Is it For Colored Girls? Because didn't he play a villain in that one too?
I don't know if it. No, it wasn't. I don't know. I don't know the name, but I'll get it to you. But he played like or did he play a bad guy?
Oop. Fact check it.
Yeah, I'll have to fact check it. I'll have to fact check it, and I'll get back to you on your next episode. You can correct me. But he's just not a good villain, But I think Michael B. Jordan is a good villain. I think like if he played more villain roles, psychotic like villain roles, because he's a pretty boy, But he does have like, I don't know, man. It was just something about Killmonger where he was in his wheelhouse. Like as smiley and giggly and like humble as he is, I think he got a chance to really be like, nah, like if I got to be hood and stoic and evil like this, this is me. Like that's him when he gets mad. I can tell.
Right.
Yeah. So Mike, if you're watching this, bro,
play more villains.
Play more villains, straight up.
And that's what it is. Okay, next question. What are the tribes of Wakanda? You have to name all of them.
Okay. The Jabari tribe, obviously.
Okay, that's one.
The starts with a W, right? No.
I can't give you any clues.
Oh, I can't get a clue?
Nope. No clues.
It's literally right there in the beginning of the film. I'm stumped. I don't know it.
So there's 5. There's 5 tribes. You got the Jabari tribe. That's one. There's also the Border tribe, the Mining tribe.
Okay.
The River tribe, the Merchant tribe, and the Golden tribe.
The Golden tribe. Okay. The Golden one, I would never have guessed.
The Golden tribe is just what they call the royals.
Okay. I would never have guessed that. You are right. The Border tribe. Duh. Duh. That's literally the setup for the whole movie.
Like we were just talking about my beef. Oh, 6. My apologies. 6.
Is there 6?
There's 6 then.
In the beginning they say 5, but if you're not counting the royals, then it's...
Oh, got you.
So then there's 6. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I feel bad for that one.
You gotta read up on
I
this
do.
stuff,
I do.
man.
I do.
What are we doing
She
here?
came prepared, man.
I think Golden Tribe is separate. That's just the royals.
Yeah. Still a tribe, though. There you go. All right. Last question.
Okay.
This is more like almost behind the scenes information. What famous M'Baku line was improved in the second act of the film? Improved, excuse me.
Oh, it's got to be We're Vegan. No?
It's in the same scene.
Okay.
Just a little bit earlier.
A little bit earlier. Okay, what does he say? He goes,
It's not even saying, technically.
I know this. Not when he's sitting. Yeah, right? Okay, yeah, he's sitting and he does something. What does he do?
Yeah, I'll give it to you because it's close enough.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
I remember watching this interview.
When Everett Ross starts to talk to him,
right?
and he starts barking.
Yeah.
And everyone else around him starts barking as well as an intimidation tactic. Apparently, Winston Duke improv'd that as like, how can I intimidate this person in this moment? And I guess the director just went along with it. It was do it.
Because he didn't, that's when the barking first happened.
Well, there's a little bit of barking in the beginning when he is coming in.
But it's just him, right?
It's him and the rest of the tribe.
Okay, because I thought they were just chanting. Like when they came in, they had their chant.
They have their chant, but they do the barks in the chant.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I remember him saying that, man. That was pretty cool. But I thought it was like, I'm just kidding. We're not gonna eat you. We're vegan. Like that was hilarious to me.
Honestly, that might be improv as well.
Okay.
I have to buy the script.
We have to fact check that.
We have to fact check it. It's just so everything about it is good.
Yeah, it's a great movie, and
It is great.
It was an honor talking to you about Black Panther.
Thank you for coming. You know how I feel about this movie.
Yeah.
Especially now you know that it was our first date.
Yeah. You know what? That's pretty incredible, man.
It is.
I can see why it brings up so much joy for you. Great character development, great characters, a great story. There's rich history in that.
There is.
You know, and there's a personal touch to it. You know, you have met your person.
Yeah, from this film.
That's incredible.
It is incredible.
What is it like? To be black at the movies?
To be black at the movies.
Black at the movies.
Literally. And shout out to everybody who was involved in the film. I love Ruth E. Carter. She is a great costume designer.
Oh, man.
She also designed the costume for my other favorite movie, Baps. I love Hannah Beachler.
I heard about
She's
that.
great. She does the production design. She's also doing the production design for The Wiz that's on Broadway right now. I love Nate Moore, the executive producer from Marvel. I love everyone.
We forgot something very, very important about this movie.
What?
The soundtrack.
Yes! Shout outs to Ludwig Göransson. Dude, classical trap. First time I heard it.
Man, the soundtrack to this movie was phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Baba Mal was singing. It's freaking awesome. And then being able to like bring it back to the concert series, being able to like hear that live. I was sobbing.
Dude, I don't know what instrument. I forgot, but the
Oh, the talking drum.
is that? Oh my God, to hear that live is crazy, and this is why this movie is so iconic. If you ever hear that sequence,
You know.
immediately,
You know.
Black Panther, immediately.
Or you hear the chanting that they use for the door. The choo, choo,
Oh,
choo,
yeah.
choo.
Oh,
You start
yeah.
looking around, you're just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh shit, am I in trouble?
Oh yeah, and you know we're out of time, but the Dora Milaje,
The Dora Milaje. Ah, so cool.
iconic. She needs her own movie.
Okoye?
Needs her own movie because her character. I don't want to get too much into Wakanda Forever, but the development in her character and the choice that she had to make in Black Panther. I serve the throne. That's my job. At what cost, though? She lost everything.
Literally.
Yeah.
And Wakabi, would you kill me, my love? And she's like, for Wakanda? Without question.
Without question. Mic drop moment.
We can talk about this all day. This episode is already long enough as is. If you sticked around for the whole thing, thank you so much. We appreciate you. You're awesome. And honestly, go watch Black Panther.
Yeah, go see it again. It's on Disney Plus.
Go watch it again. It's on Disney Plus. Or if you're like me, you probably already own it. Honestly. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. See you later. Bye.
Here we go.